We call today Palm Sunday. It is the first day of Holy Week, and Holy Week is unlike any other week in the Christian calendar. It begins with triumph and ends in tragedy, and in between, every day becomes a living prayer, a reflection on the inevitable as we draw closer and closer, hour by hour, to the betrayal, the Lord's Supper, the arrest, Christ's passion, and then his death. All those episodes which we heard proclaimed just moments ago. I think that maybe Holy Week might have a new meaning for us this last couple of years. For those of us in Greene and Albany counties, Calvary can seem as close as Albany Med, or St. Peter's, or Columbia Memorial. But in spite of that, our faith compels us to look further, to look beyond this Sunday to the next, and now use these palms, our hands, as instruments of prayer. These last days of Lent, as we pray for our world, especially Ukraine, we pray with the great hope, and we do it for a reason, because we know the Christian story never ends on Good Friday. I'm reminded of the moment in the Stations of the Cross when Jesus, burdened under the weight of the cross, only 3 stations in, falls to the ground. And then as he struggles to get up, he sees the face of his heartbroken mother in the very next station. And he forces a weak smile and speaks to her the words that we also find in the book of Revelation. He says, "I make all things new." That's just what we were waiting to hear. And that, in many ways, is the great message and meaning and mission of Lent. That's what we've all been working towards, to make all things new, to make ourselves new, to make our lives new. Over these last 40 days, we have given ourselves over to fasting and sacrifice and prayer and greater acts of love for one another, so that we might become what God intended us to be. We want God to make all things new, including every single one of us, including every part of our broken and suffering world. And as we mark these final hours of Lent during this unforgettable time in history, the great challenge of this moment becomes, how will we spend these last days before Easter? We have our palms. We put them together, and we put them to use during this week that we call Holy. And we continue to pray, because I fear that COVID is not yet done with us. So pray first for those responders and healthcare providers and doctors and nurses and chaplains who are the heroes of our age. Put your palms together and pray for all the sick and the suffering, and mostly pray for one another. Let us use our palms however we can from within our own inner room to uplift one another, to support one another, to help one another carry our crosses. And so may we live this Holy Week like no other, and in the spirit of prayer like no other, with confidence and with courage and with the fervent hope in the one whose own palms were pierced.